and welcome back to Doz's Television Workshop, where today we're going to be doing APRS on the cheap. Our transmitter is going to be the humble Beofeng UV-5R transceiver and a Gash mobile phone. Right, things we're going to want and need. We're going to need a transmitter, the Beofeng UV-5R. I'm going to need my old mobile phone. I'll take you through that. We're going to need a couple of stereo 3.5mm jacks. I've got this off eBay. So this has got a 4-pin TRRS 3.5mm on the back, and that just goes to two quite nice sockets, actually, inline sockets, microphone and speaker look. That's going to go in the bottom of there, and then we're going to need something to connect it all to the Beofeng. Beofeng and most of these Chinese radios, they use a Kenwood style wiring, and I've got this plug just to tails off eBay for a few quid, and that just plugs snugly into the side of our Beofeng. So that's good. Right, now we're going to need to make a few adaptations, and there's a website where I have plagiarized a diagram from. I'll link to the website. In fact, we'll call it up in a second. But here's what I've done is I've just pinned out, there are 4 leads in this connector, despite the fact that obviously clearly there are 6 terminals, but it's all right, we've got enough to do what we want to do. So black is mic ground, red is speaker plus, green is speaker ground, and white is mic plus. And this is the diagram I found on the web for the interface lead. There are a few different sort of ideas, and in fact you can actually buy a lead which is made by BTEC, and it's got all this built in, so you don't have to do that, but it's extremely expensive. It's about 40 quid here in the UK, and considering one UV-5R is not that much money, seems like a lot of money from for a lead, but of course that's not why we're here. We're doing it on the cheap, so yeah.
When I can make it at home for nothing.
Yeah, let's call up this website and see what the guy says. Okay, here's it's John Boyle's his GitHub page, and this is the PCB he's made. Excuse me. Which is tiny, really good look. So you've got some sort of strain relief going on here, but we haven't got time for that. But he's kindly provided the circuit diagram. I suspect he's from over the pond, look, because we've got crinkly resistors and some odd nomenclature going on here. 0.1k, yeah, well, that's 100 ohms. But here is an attenuator and a bit of DC blocking, I think, just from the speaker line back into, he says iPhone, I mean, it's going to work fine with Android. So there's an awful lot of attenuation going on here. Into the iPhone's microphone socket, because we can receive and transmit on this. It's not just like just a tracker. We can send and receive messages via APRS Droid, which I'll come to in a minute. Here's the microphone socket. He's taken that straight into the headphone output. This 100 ohm resistor is to sense if so the phone, sorry, can sense something's been plugged in, apparently. So my plan is this 100 ohm resistor, I can use a tiny little surface mount and just build that straight into the 3.5mm plug that's going to go into that Y lead. And this I'm going to build on a little bit of perf board, again using surface mounts. This can be tiny. So yeah, let's make that happen. Just back to it, and actually in advance of what I've done, I have already soldered the tiny little 100 ohm surface mount resistor across the 2 pins of the plug. I haven't recorded me doing it because, quite frankly, I did record some footage when I built the other attenuator up on the board, and you can't see anything. It's just me with my head in the way and a blurry mess. But that is that little circuit diagram that Mr. John Boyles has kindly provided for us. So yeah, you can just about see how things are looking on our bit of perf board. So I'm just going to cut that down, remove the edges, and that can go. I don't think I'm going to get it in the plug, sadly. I don't know though. Let's see what it looks like in a minute. Right, so that's the next thing to do, is just to cut that off. And for that we're going to need a scalpel just to score it. Perfect. So there is my my little filter. Epic. Now, can I get it inside the plug? That's the headphone one. I'll leave that to one side. No. I spent a bit of time sanding the edge down to get the absolute minimum. I may be able to do that. And it would be that way round, wouldn't it? No, it's too much like hard work. So what I'm going to do is, obviously I need to make a sort of Y arrangement here, so I can use the 2 plugs. And I need to insert that in the middle. I think what I'm going to do is graft 2 little bits of screened cable on there, and then graft that in the middle and seal it somehow. Hot melt maybe? Bit of heat shrink? Anyway, let's do that. Oh, that Y piece is looking quite respectable now, I think. So I've just got to go from there into the filter and the... So this is my ground here, this side, so yeah, we can do that. And the other thing is to put the plug on here. I think I'm going to do that first. Actually, I'm not going to solder that on first. I'm going to put that on last. For the simple reason is, I've got to put a piece of heat shrink over here. So, this is output. Right. So, I think the next thing to do is attach the radio side to this. I've got to strip this end. Okay, reasonably happy with that now. Hot melt glue is going, so I've got to work really quickly here. So we just want to dab in there, and then get the heat gun on it very quickly. Which of course ain't going to happen. There we go, it's happening. So I just want to shield this end in first. There it goes. Let's try and keep it out of the way of that one. And it'll all ooze out and be generally unpleasant, but we can clean that up after. Right, let's wait for that to go cold. And we'll configure our Android app next. That's the only other bit of this project that's cost me something. So yeah, let's put that over there. Let's get rid of the heat shrink. Put that away. Have a little tidy up. And we'll go through the configuration of the app. Right. Okay, so I've got my phone here. I wonder what that is, look. I can't see that. It must be infrared. Some sort of infrared sensor going on. Right, I've also got a screen recording app, what I have installed. 3, 2, 1, go. So hopefully that's now recording the screen as well, because if not, you've got to rely on that camera. The other thing I've got is a pair of headphones plugged into that Y split lead, because I want to make sure we're actually transmitting a packet. Right, first thing to do is go into preferences. You need to install your call sign. It'll also ask you for your APRS IS passcode, which you can actually get from the app, or you can get it from the website. So I've entered G7GQA in there, which is my call sign. SSID, I've selected 3 because I'm already using 1, 2, 7 and 10. So yeah, that's that. Right, come out of there. SSID, we've done that. There we go. Yeah. I've got connection preferences. This is the important one. Connection protocol. You can have APRS IS if you just want to track it without using, just using the TCP/IP connection via your mobile phone SIM. This phone hasn't got a SIM in it, so we're just going to use audio AFSK. Okay. You can also use these Kenwood things or whatever, I don't know, but we're using audio. So Bluetooth headset is not selected. We can use, because this phone's got a decent enough processor, we can use this high quality demodulator here, which will be useful. Audio output we need to set to music. Okay. Frame sync prefix. This needs a bit of playing around with. Now it defaults to 200. Now obviously we can't key our push to talk button on our Beofeng. 1, it's not connected, and 2, there's no means to do it. So we're relying on Vox on the Beofeng to set this. So this puts out a tone before the data. So it gives the Beofeng a chance to open the Vox. I've moved it from 200 to 300 milliseconds. We'll see how we get on. Right, audio output, music, frame sync, that's it. We are done. So we go back into here and I click send position. I don't know, you hear that? That was a packet. There it is. So we are sending audio. Epic. Right. Now we need to set up a couple of things on the Beofeng itself. The Beofeng. So first thing to do is to set both VFOs
frequency mode
to 144,800. Can you see that on this display? It's going to be horrible, isn't it? There you go, 144,800. That is the APRS frequency in the UK and Europe. Squelch I have got set to 1. So we need to get to Vox. So Vox is currently off. I'm going to send that to 1.
confirm.
So that's all we need to do. So I'm going to push my microphone lead in there. We're going to connect it up the right way around. Let me just fire up the old Remarkable again. Can't really see much here. Let's widen the old angle out a bit. There we go. So this unit here goes to our microphone for receiving. That goes to transmitting. Yep. Okay. So that is APRS Droid connected to our phone. Why are we transmitting? We should not be transmitting.
6.5 hours later.
It's a snafu of my own making. Right, this is the 4-pole TRRS jack that goes in the bottom of my telephone. TRRS, so tip, ring, ring, sleeve. So the top two here, so that's the tip and the first ring, are left and right audio, right and left. I don't really care which because I'm only dealing with mono. So those are the two. Then the third one is ground, okay? And the fourth one is mic. You will notice there's only one ground. Now, if we refer to the Beofeng pinout, in fact, let me just unplug that for a second, switch that off. How the PTT works on a handheld mic is if these two grounds are connected together, short circuit, the transmitter goes into transmit. And like a plonker I was, so I'll just demonstrate that. Now I've got so that's the headphones coming from the phone. So this is connected to the microphone at the moment of the Beofeng. So if I just connect the two grounds together, I'm hoping you can see that. Let's sit that back straight so you can watch it. There you go, goes into transmit. Transmit, transmit. This is not a byproduct of Vox or anything because we've got nothing connected at the moment. Now, if we look very carefully at John Boyle's diagram, the grounds on this side aren't connected, which sort of leaves them unshielded. Not sure I like that idea, but let's give it a go, because the other solution would be to fit an isolation transformer in there, but that gives its own problem. One, it'll be a small thing, but it'll still be something to mount in the lead. And two, we have to be careful of the phase. So we want to get the phase around the right way, otherwise nobody will be able to decode our packets. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to solder those. I'm just going to fold the grounds out the way for a second, just solder the contacts together. The contacts, I mean the actual signal lead there. And see if it does in fact work. It's not a very long lead, and there's no sort of you see there's an RF source there when it's going into transmit, which is what we're bothered about. But let's just see if it bothers it. Right, so let's just quickly just dab those together. If you'd stay still, please. Now I've got all nervous. There we go. Right, so the grounds are separated. The transmitter is not transmitting. I'll just put it back on 144.800. 144.800. I'll turn the TYT radio on. That is listening on 144.800. Let's put that in the phone jack. We have just gone into transmit. We've stopped. That's all right. Just a click as I. There we go. I'll open APRS Droid. Let's push start tracking, and push the send position button, and we haven't got a GPS lock. Right, let's wait and see if we get a GPS lock. I wonder if I can send a message. Let's do that. We have sent a packet, and sure enough, the packet has arrived at the gate. How good is that? So that does actually work. That eliminates any tedious need to have an isolation transformer in there. Let me just send that again. Yep, and once, it's just sent two. So that's great. That is actually working. Let me turn that radio off now. No, anyway, right, there we go. We are transmitting. We haven't got that shield in there. The packets sound all right. They're being decoded good. We're done. So I think the next thing to do is to take it out for a spin and see if we get a suitable track. So I put the Beofeng and my old mobile phone in the car, went for a little drive to see my mate Julian, and yeah, tracked me perfectly. So on APRS.fi I could see the track and I could see the packets coming in on the iGate, no problems at all. With mention to the iGate, it was formerly running a piece of software called Ionosphere. I wasn't very happy with the results from that. Whether it wasn't happy with my hardware, I don't know. But I only ever caught 2 packets. And as you can see now, I'm catching lots of packets because I've changed the software for something called Direwolf 1.4, which is not new. It's been around for ages and ages. But it is working beautifully. So yeah, no change of hardware, just a change in the software to get that all to work. So rather pleased with that. Anyway, as usual, thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, do all that rubbish, and I hope to see you soon here on Doz's Television Workshop. Bye. Right, okay. What we're going to need to do is load up APRS Droid. And we're not going to do that. We're going to shut it bloody down, and we're going to do it again. Every time we make that lead, we're going to need to break that ground and put in something. Start again. And my computer's updating. Joy. That's fine. But you will notice, let's do it again. Tascam 433. That's appropriate. Well, pop the old. Let's just not do that. It was running some software. Can't remember what it was called. Let's do this again.